Live. We're live on Facebook. Welcome everyone. Welcome to those that are joining in the Zoom meeting and those that are watching from Facebook. Glad to have you here. We thought we'd have a different type of a session today, and we might do this on a regular basis, like perhaps on a monthly basis if it's of interest. And I find talking about individual stories, which is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to do a spotlight on success, and today Helen Constant is our guest. So welcome, Helen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi everyone.
You've always been such a great contributor to the Power Hour and a lot of our pure bookkeeping webinars. You know, you're hosting some of the webinars with the advisory, you know, when we're running through profit and loss and balance sheets, and you know, so there's a lot of things that you have supported the pure bookkeeping licensees and the bookkeeping industry in general in being on these Power Hours and sharing your information, sharing your stories. So really appreciate your contribution on these events, because you come from a place of generosity in sharing a lot of information, very articulate in the way that you are able to, you know, describe and tell stories and give information. So you've got a lot of knowledge, a lot of business knowledge. So I thought this is a great opportunity to spotlight on success, and you being our very first one. So this is an inaugural spotlight on success. So it should be a bit of fun and just finding out a bit more about your story, because I think we all can relate to stories and can relate to other people's journey in their bookkeeping business and in their life, and that there's a lot of takeaways from that in itself. And that we find that we're not alone. We're not, you know, we're all very similar. We're all going through the same type of journey in building a bookkeeping business. So it's not unusual. I'm sure your story is, you know, the way that you are building up to being building your bookkeeping business is very similar to a way a lot of others have done, and can get some inspiration from your story too. So perhaps we might start with just finding out who you are, and where you've come from. Like, you know, what's your journey to becoming a bookkeeper? So, you know, what brought you into bookkeeping? So do you want to give us a bit of information about yourself first?
Okay, so I'm based in Melbourne, for people who don't know. So that's something people don't normally find out, but yes, based in Melbourne. Country born and raised originally. So I actually started hairdressing when I was 15. I purchased my first salon at 18 and was just really, you know, on the tools, I guess, you know, not understanding or knowing. I do come from a background of businesses. My father had over 20 cafes at different times in his career. So we were raised in cafes, so I knew nothing more than customer service and all that kind of stuff, hard work and long hours. So I guess the entrepreneur side is just, you know, a family trait really. A lot of us are all in business, all my siblings. So, you know, 18 and buying a salon, I just went head first and didn't know anything and didn't think anything. Obviously, my father taught me how to keep a cash book and that kind of stuff. But it was really just, you know, when I think back, he was doing most of it. I was just cutting hair all day and coming home with dirty towels, and he was sort of handling a lot of the finances. So that was a real learning curve when my parents actually moved away. We were in the country and they moved to Melbourne. So they left me alone in the country to run this hair salon. And it was hard. It was really hard. So with clients, I think when they're doing it tough, I can relate to that, because I know what that's like. I know what the overdraft, the bills, everything. It was some tough years, but a really good learning curve. I did have an accountant who was, you know, bring me the bag of receipts and we'll sort it out. you know, and I remember once asking him, how can I make this better? How can I understand what you need and what you're doing, and how can I manage my business? And his response was, oh, don't worry, young Helen. Like, he goes, just bring me the bag of receipts. And I thought, so I did worry. And I worried to the extent that I went and enrolled in an accounting degree because I do everything in extremes. So it wasn't about just, you know, back then we didn't have the internet to Google and learn and have all this reference. I think we had Encyclopedia Britannica, and I couldn't find much on accounting in there except for the description. So I went off, did a university degree. I actually didn't complete it because my aim was not to become an accountant. I just wanted to learn how to manage this business, you know, and what it all meant. So I remember I completed 18 months of this degree, and that gave me the financial accounting basis, the principles, the microeconomics, the macroeconomics, which helped me with the supply and demand in the salon. And it was really great how just studying management accounting and all these different subjects really gave me a complete different perspective. So didn't finish the degree because I didn't want to be an accountant. So that was really good. From there, and I think it's at every point in time, you need to find that mentor or that person you look up to, you know, that you can just find something that you've got, you know, that you just have got something in common, but also that you'll listen to. And I found someone who surprisingly used to sell us. He was one of our reps. He used to sell us all our stock. He was just a hair supplier, and he was starting to host webinars in the area and workshops, and I'd go along, and they were very business orientated. And I just rang him one day, and I remember him saying, you know, what would you like to order? And I said, I need help. And he was like, what? And I said, I need help. If you have that, I know you can offer it, and I need help. So let's start ordering help kind of thing. So it was really good. It was a turning point because it was like having, he was a mentor. I just told him where I was and where I wanted to go. And I didn't have all the tools at my aid at that time, you know, worksheets or you know, all these graphs and matrix things that we did, you know, like yesterday. I didn't have any of that. I just told him all the issues, and he just sat down and helped me work through them. So that just helped turn the business around as far as finances go and ordering and everything, and understanding my cost value. So if someone came and sat in the chair, I could tell you exactly how long that, you know, what that haircut was really going to cost me by the time you left that chair. So it wasn't just, you know, how are you pricing these services? It was about, you know, understanding the overall, your overheads, everything that went into that person sitting in the chair for that time. So that was a real eye-opener. And the same with hair colours, using products, I could break down the costs dramatically. So that helped with a lot of clients. You know, I'd say to them, what does your coffee really cost you? And we could, you know, work through and break those costs right down, because I found that really beneficial in business. And from there, I guess I didn't understand marketing, but somehow I just remember using the same colours, the same logo, the same font. Everything was the same. You know, you walked into the salon, we dressed a certain way, we spoke a certain way, and I think it's unconscious. You just look around and look at what other people are doing. I think I didn't know any of the right rules or principles or even what I was doing, but I just went with how I wanted everything to look, and it paid off. I look back and I think our salon it represented our prices, it represented our service, our professionalism, and the output of the work that went out. So is
that an example of value pricing?
I think
because you're giving a value service.
I think in marketing, it's the branding. You know, when we talk about you've got your branding, you use your colours, your font, all that, like you have email templates, so everything goes out the same. And yeah, and I guess the pricing, once I knew my benchmark pricing, then I could say, well, we're adding all this to it and we're going above and beyond and all, you know, and we had some really, and I targeted people without knowing. I targeted a lot of, you know, influential people in the town and surrounding areas. So, and I did that in a way of, you know, it wasn't selling services. It was just making sure I met these people and then just chatting a lot about their business, a lot about what they did, finding an interest in what they do. And then it was, you know, that time of they wanted something done and they'll be like, oh, try Helen, you know, we'll go to her salon. So I think I do that even now with clients. When I go to see a new client, I don't really sell our services. I just listen. I listen and listen and take it away. And then, you know, I ask them, what do you want from us? You know, what is it that you need our services for? So I really think the bookkeeping, the salon was a huge part of where I've got to with the bookkeeping initially.
Yeah, and you were entrepreneurial right back then, and that would have been born from your parents being entrepreneurial, but you had that instinct to go out into your own business.
Yeah,
right
I think
from the
not
start.
being afraid. Yeah, it wasn't, you know, when I looked at buying this salon, it was just, I didn't give it a lot of thought. Like I know today I would. You know, if I was buying someone's bookkeeping clients, I would give it a lot more thought. There's a lot that would go into that. But yeah, being so young and you've got your dad saying, well, you know, we can do this and that. But mind you, the first day of owning the salon, when my dad decided to drive me to work, because I didn't even have a car. I used to ride my bike to work. He dropped a bombshell, and this is how naive I was. He said, oh, the money, because I borrowed money to buy the salon, and he organised all the loan and paperwork, and he drove me to work and he said, oh, just so you know, I mortgaged our house for you to get that loan.
Oh, wow. So he
So
had
that was just like,
trust in you.
And then I understood what it meant, because he had taught us a lot of business things. And when he said that, I just thought, I was just so deflated. And I think that stayed in my head for every single day for the next 13 years. I mean, obviously I paid the loan well out, but I remember that that was like, this is great. It's a new chapter, but hey, this is what's hanging over your head. This is your why.
That's right. The pay it back. Yeah, they've put their trust in you, which is awesome. So I'm curious to know how you got from hairdressing business to moving to bookkeeping. Was, you know, at what point did the passion override? I'm assuming the passion for bookkeeping overrode hairdressing.
Back to the salon quickly. My goal was to build it up to sell it. Obviously, I wanted something to sell, so I had gotten to that stage. And I was working part-time in the salon. I was only in the first week, actually, when a businessman in the town approached me about managing his office. So he was running an insurance firm, and he said, you know, I had won a couple of awards for running the salon. So he had just approached me and said, I know what you've done. I've heard about what you've done in the salon. Can you come and streamline my office? And he's someone who didn't even know how to put paper in a printer. So it was really fun. But I just took a simplistic view of the little things they were doing. And I just tried to think, well, can't you do it this way? Wouldn't this be quicker? Wouldn't this be cheaper? So it just started. And the girl who was doing the accounts taught me how to do Mile, because she needed help with the accounting side. And that's really how it started. I just got it. I got it, I guess, from my days of doing my accounting degree. And I thought, well, it was just a matter of learning the software. And I would do the accounts, do all his accounts payable, receivable, help run the office, help. I remember introducing Christmas presents to everyone. Was something I thought it was odd, because in the salon we did that. You know, I think a small group of people, you bought gifts and things, and this was there were 20 staff members at the time, and I just remember just doing more for staff. I think it was more about how can we make the staff happier and enjoy their work.
Appreciated.
So,
yeah.
And then,
so then from that, and you'd sold your hairdressing, salon, then how did you start to build up your clients? Where did you,
I
get them
came to
from?
Melbourne. I moved to Melbourne and moved into the same role, an accounts officer in an insurance firm. And I then met a bookkeeper who was starting a bookkeeping business, and she wanted, she was doing the bookkeeping in this insurance firm in the city, and she was doing her handover to me. So when I came along, so I knew the insurance side well, and the software, there was a particular software we used that wasn't Mile, and I knew that well. So she just, together, we just worked out the bookkeeping for this company. And a couple of months afterwards, she came back to me and asked, would I help her at bass time? Could I come and help her and do a few hours and help her do basses? So it just started from there. I just contracted to her until I moved to full-time with her. As a full-time, back then we were on site because we were dealing with desktop software. So I was out 5 days a week, full-time, juggling various clients for her. Yeah, I had set clients, and that's really how I just fell into it. It wasn't so, I enjoyed it. I obviously enjoyed it, and I got it. And I did remember when I sold the salon, I just promised myself I was never going to work Saturday morning ever again. And, I wasn't going to own a checkbook. They were my two criteria, because I just, I knew I didn't want to be a hairdresser in Melbourne. I didn't want to work weekends, and they work a lot longer hours here. And for me, it was sell the salon. It was a chapter I was happy to leave behind. It's not a skill you ever lose, but I just found the accounting side, it just drew me more. There was something different about it. I could do it without relying on customers walking in the door and,
and they're recurring. And so how did you build up more and more clients then? If you've got that one contractor, where did you start to build your clients?
So when I stopped working full-time to have my first child, I became her contractor, and did a few, kept clients for her, and then accountants just that I was already dealing with just asked if I would do some other client or look at some other clients, problem clients. It became more of a problem. Oh, this client's got a real issue. Can you just look at the file? So, I got a lot of those, look at the file and tell us what you think. So, and I just started to do a full review and report on the file and send it back to the accountant. And where the accountant thinks that it could be one or two things that need attention, and they'd get a 3-page report, take it back to the client, and then the client would just ring and say, hey, you did this on my business, can you fix it? Just fix it all. So that just kept happening without seeking it, without wanting to. I mean, I was home, I had probably about 12 clients that were irregular. It was more bass time that I sort of worked it that way so I could spend time with the kids, and just kept getting these requests to fix files, and that's where it really started.
Yeah. Okay. So what year how many years was that between that and now?
I've been doing this for 20 years.
For 20?
20 years.
20 years. Yep. That's
years.
not unusual.
That I pretty much started bookkeeping, and so I was freelancing up until pretty much I took on a staff member, I remember. So on my own, I was, I've only been running the company for 3 years. So before that, I was running as a sole trader. I did get help along the way, a staff member in the last, she's been with me for 5 years. So the first 15, I don't know, do the sums, 12 years I was on my own, and it was just the work I wanted to pick up. I wasn't trying to grow a business. I pretty much had closed books, because I also, in the middle of that time, 2010, I took on another uni degree. So I was just happy to keep bookkeeping as, make the groceries, make the family, the home bills, and that was it. I never took it serious until 3 years ago. Yeah.
So where are you now in terms of, the services that you want to provide, and where are you wanting to take your business?
Initially, we took on anything. I think that's one thing, that it was anyone and anything. And, you know, if it was from an accountant who referred us, we just said, yep, yep, yep. So now I used to do a lot of training. So that's something that I plan to cut out. I'm not, you know, I'm looking more at, we're doing bookkeeping work and we're doing compliance and handling all that kind of thing for people, but I don't want our quarterly review clients. Those, you know, they do the bookkeeping, we just check the work, because I find that there's a lot more involved in that because you're fixing their bookkeeping. So our quarterly clients is something that we don't take that work on anymore. And training, I pretty much don't train clients to use the software anymore. We do offer support for those who already know the software. I guess it's hard to, I didn't start at the start with that. So if we're doing a zero migration from another software, we will train them in that, that sort of to do the day-to-day bookkeeping. But if they want to take us on as, you know, to oversee their BAS and everything, we do have to take on the bookkeeping. So there's a few services that we're trying to just fine-tune and, you know, keep it to probably 3 or 4. You know, you always have your project sort of work, but keep it to 3 or 4 services and that's it.
Yeah. So when did you become a pure bookkeeping licensee?
I think it's about 2 years ago.
2 years, yep. And what did you want to achieve when you became a pure bookkeeping licensee? And, you know, so, and for your business, what did you want to achieve for your business?
We started to, once I opened up our books to new clients, we started to get an influx of leads and new clients that were definite, yes, we want you to do the bookkeeping. And I knew it was going to be more than what I could handle and my other full-timer could handle. So I thought, how am I going to do this and do it properly? And yeah, I don't know how I came across pure bookkeeping. I think maybe like a Google search or something, but I think it was researching systems or something like that. Like you have them in your head, and I remember looking for sort of templates so I wouldn't have to go and reinvent the whole wheel. That's how I sort of came across pure bookkeeping. It's been for us a slow progress implementing, but it's also with the influx of clients that we pretty much tripled our client base in a matter of, it was 3 to 6 months, I remember. So I didn't have the time to just sit down and just work on pure bookkeeping. It was a matter of keep everyone happy and at bay, and we were trying to fix price at the time, and everything seemed to happen at once. So I would say to anybody, if you're starting out, well, you've got no staff or you don't have that volume of clients, get all those ducks in a row first, because that would have been, yeah, had I had that sort of time to implement, you know, slowly while you've got a small clientele, work the system, fine tune it, get all those things down, that would have been ideal. Yeah. Yeah,
and we say that over and over again. And Deb and I lived that exact error in our journey as well, is not systemizing soon enough so that you can scale and leverage from those systems. So it's a very, very common, that it's one of the, you know, best advice that we give. Set your systems or your foundation up sooner than you know, as you're starting, as you're building, as you're creating your processes, systemize it all. So for you personally, what did you want to achieve personally when you know, started building your business and wanting to systemize? And like when you were at that point of your business, what were you trying to achieve personally?
Financial freedom. I think because I have worked for people and I do love that, and I guess I always fall back into business, but I've never been that kind that was going to just get married, have kids and stay home and have someone provide for me. And I'm not a feminist. It's just like, but it's more of, I've always enjoyed earning my own way, earning my own keep. And I remember I just wanted to do this, and it was little things, little steps, you know, make the groceries, make the home bills, and because it just suddenly all came together, and it was, you know, we had the clients, we had pure bookkeeping, where that was sort of something we were working on. My goal is, my personal why is to be, to secure myself financially if something happens, you know, to my partner, if something, you know, that rainy day, I don't know. I just think that I don't want to be in a situation where I have to stay anywhere because I'm financially bound to that. So that's my number one. Yeah, because I know, and I'll tell you why, because I know what it's like to not have the cash flow. I know what it's like to owe rent, owe this, owe that. I've lived that and I don't want to ever go back to that. So that is really important to me personally.
Yeah, that's very impactful, to own that, to, you know, own that financial freedom, to own that why, what's important to you. So yeah, that's awesome. So where are you now wanting to take your business? Where can you see your vision? Where can you see it going?
I have to think of this because I sort of chop and change and everything, but for me personally, we've got some good stuff at the moment. There's 5 of us. I'm actually I've noticed with the 5, I've still got some work to do in, you know, client work. So I'm going to employ another person in the next 4 weeks, because I decided I don't want to do any of that now. I'm really good at getting great at delegating. It's something that, you know, I think, and a lot of people, and Debbie mentions it often, you know, it's your baby, you don't want to hand them over. I'm okay with that. And I know the clients, I've always told all the clients I don't do the bookkeeping anymore. I've told them for years. Even when I did jump on and do the bookkeeping, they didn't know it was me. So I'm more than happy now to just delegate all my bookkeeping work, well, more of the compliance I do now, and project work, and just focus on, there's a few other things. I'd like to spend more time in the back end now, fine-tuning our own processes and procedures, working with more of an online platform, so that's available to new hires when they come in. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking at the moment. Our vision, I think about that one because I have a lot. I have a few. It sort of doesn't change, but I guess, you know, we all want to grow a bookkeeping business that we can sell. That was the plan until my son mentioned the other day that he would like to run this bookkeeping business for me, and awesome. So I can go on holidays. So they've got this vision that they're going to take over, and if we've got bookkeepers doing the work, there's no reason why they can't manage it and look after it. And I'm thinking, okay, so I don't know. Yeah, don't know.
So there's no particular size that you want to get to, no particular, you know, niche or clients, or...
There is. The size, I always wanted to stay a boutique bookkeeping business. I didn't want to grow into anything huge. I always thought 5 girls would be nice, you know, keep those clients, do this. We have more client capacity than the 5 girls can handle, so that I think we have to grow. I have to scale the team, because there's still more, there's too much that I'm doing that I don't want to do. I really need to cut back the hours I spend still managing everyone. So I don't mind the managing side, the training, but yeah, I think it's inevitable. You know, we've already cut clients. We've done that cleanup. I'm happy with our clientele, and our clients' needs are changing a lot too. So I need to fine-tune processes for that, to sort of deal with those clients. So we have generally clients who, you know, annually they're anywhere, their requirements, it's not just, you know, as I said, we don't have those quarterly reviews. So there's a lot of work for each client, and we want to make sure we give them that 100%. I know that could be impossible, but we're going to strive for that. So to do that, I need the people to help me do that, you know, internally. So I think size-wise, we have to grow. I honestly don't know how I would manage more people, but I couldn't imagine being more than 10. I wouldn't like that, unless I've got those real stringent things in place, procedures and yeah, sort of onboard training new hire. And business-wise, yeah, our clientele, we're really, we've sort of got our good ideal clientele. I mean, there's always more out there, but I just, Sharon Francisco's probably horrified because I say it every time she asks about new clients. I'm like, no, I don't want any. Because I know within my own clientele, there's so much money on the table sitting there. You know, I know I can, and I'm really big on that. I'm big on taking, so, you know, one client and taking them from, you know, 5K to 10K. I can do that. I'm confident in doing that. And I know it's to their benefit. It's not just to our bottom line. So, and I know clients want more. They, you know, they ask for more. One asked the other day for, can you do procedures for our in-house accounts person? So, you know, there's little things like that. You want to have the time, and that's a good project. That's something I would, you know, I enjoy doing that, you know, SOPs for different clients, because I do them for myself. And I think it's one of the first things when I'll consult with a company is, you know, what's the process here? How do these people know what to do, and where does it go to from them, and where does it go? Because a lot of the businesses we do deal with are quite large. They're not small businesses, so they have there's quite a lot of divisions. There's, you know, the staffing range can be up to 300. So we're not really bookkeeping. We will do their compliance and oversee everything, but it's more, I ensure their accounts department runs as best as it can. So, you know, and often accounts are not just singleized. You've got, you know, customer service eventually blends into accounts, and you've got operations, you know, workflow comes into accounts. So we're really, like, for myself, I'm consulted more to go in and help businesses streamline those processes.
Yeah, so it's the ability to have the time to do that, have that freedom of choice.
Yeah.
So you can choose to go into other services, or the freedom to choose to have some time off. So it's setting the foundations up of your business to be able to do that. So, you know, it's really, really important to have the systems set up so that you can step away from the day-to-day. So you're leveraging from the systems and the technology and the staffing and the resources that you've put into place. So it's building that better business, is putting all that structure into place so that you can step away, and how important that is for you to have that choice to be able to do this extra work. So it's something that we spoke about a lot in the workshop in the last couple of days, in setting your business up so that you can move away, identifying the need to move away from doing the day-to-day so that you can work on your own business. So when do you think that mindset kicked in for you? Like, you know, do you understand what I'm meaning?
Yeah, yesterday.
So
I'm going to explain that, because, you know, I think a lot of us, we all know what we need to do. We all know, yes, this is the plan, this is where I want to go. And some of you may know I work with Sharon Francisco, and it's not because I didn't know what to do. I know I'm one that I love education. So the last 2 years, I guess what I didn't mention is when I joined Pure Bookkeeping, you know, I was like a sponge for more information. It was like, you know, reading lots of books around the bookkeeping industry, around value pricing. Prior to that, I had read a lot of, you know, and years ago, obviously in the salon, it was more probably about sales and customer service. So you're reading about what it is you want to learn at the moment. And I knew when we first took on Pure Bookkeeping, why I didn't implement it is because I was on an hourly rate. And that was something that bugged me a lot. So my priority above all, even before implementing, was the fixed pricing. If I could just do the monthly fixed pricing. So that was a lot of, you know, that doesn't happen overnight. You can't just decide and run out and, you know, say to a client, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, you need to set that up and package that so you're not really selling it, you're just offering a better solution to the clients. And I think if you believe it's a better way out, the clients will see that value too, that, you know, it shouldn't be based on what time it's going to take us. If we're having a bad day, some things could take me an hour and sometimes they could take me 10 minutes for the same job because of the different things that happen. So that was important for me, is get that value pricing, because then we had a constant income base. And I thought if I could grow an income base, then I would know what I've got to spend. I know what I've got to work with every month. So that was and that takes time to learn that. And people say, you know, you talk value price, they say, yeah, we charge a monthly fee, a fixed fee, and it's based on hours. And I think, well, that's not value pricing. So it took me a long time to understand that. I think with different, you know, and Ron Baker, yes, his book is brilliant, but I find it very academic, and that just doesn't, it's not what I could handle with all the things in your head. I find it hard to read that style of writing. So, you know, I found the next best thing, found Mark Wickersham, who dumbs it down in a nice way. It isn't so academic, and he follows Ron Baker's principles. So I think, you know, for me, it was, yes, I wanted to follow Ron Baker, but I couldn't relate to his style of writing. So I struggled with that, to be one of those books that you pick up and don't stop reading. And I know they're educational books, but they can be they can be enjoyable. If that's the path you're on, you need to get that educational background. So for me, Mark Wickersham just talks to me. It's just one of those things. Now I'm enrolled in his academy and he has regular seminars. So that's my person I found for pricing, you know, with the principles of Ron Baker in the background that he always referenced to. So, you know, and then it's about learning all the different, you know, whether it's marketing, whatever. As you know, I find the Successful Bookkeeper podcast ideal because I can play it in the car and that's my car music. That's the time I listen to that. So occasionally when I'm cooking, I might do that too. But so I think it's just finding your stream of what you can relate to, and then you'll stick at it. I think that's important there too. So yeah, my main thing was pricing, and now it's the systems, because I knew for a long time we've got to get these systems working. I had them, yes, in my head, and I had them on our checklist, but in order to you know, scale, I need to follow pure bookkeeping, and I don't need to fight it anymore. And I'll tell you, I did fight it, because you think, oh, why would you do all that when you can just do this, and oh, that's 10 reports and I can get the same result with this. But I think, no, the more I look into it, and I think just follow the system, you know. And I think we've really gone hard in the last month implementing, and I actually employed someone just to implement the PB. That was their role. I said, until this is done, you're doing this full time. And, you know, again, you know, yes, that person isn't doing hourly, you know, actually bringing money in, but to me, they're worth everything, because this is something I couldn't do. So I needed, you know, yes, I needed the money to do that, put that money aside, bang, you're here now just to do pure bookkeeping with us. And now I've got the other girls doing it too, but they also are balancing doing the data entry. So, and Bass's obviously now. So yeah, that's been good to see already. Something that I thought would take probably till Christmas, we're nearly there. So that's really exciting. Now we're getting that moving. So yeah.
And yeah, that's awesome. What impact do you think that's going to have on your business, having all of the systems, you know, implemented and running smoothly?
I get excited because I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, they'll have structure. They'll have a set workflow, work plan, and that's, to me, I think anyone in a job needs to know, what am I here to do? How am I going to do it? And where is it going to get me? So I've seen also the girls, the junior girls I've got that don't have, you know, the 5+ experience, they are now understanding more bookkeeping because of the reports that they need to produce, and learning with the reports what they mean, why are they doing this. So that repetition of their role now, where they were just doing data entry, now they're producing reports, now they're learning to look at the reports, So it's sort of they've already feel like they've stepped up a little bit. They've moved to that next phase. So that's good for their self-esteem and their career growth. And for me, gosh, I think in the last month, I don't know how many times I said, what does the PBS say? Follow the PBS. So, you're still getting the phone calls. Oh, I just want to check this. I'm like, follow the PBS. So
the answers are there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's clear. It's easy to follow. So, in Carbon, they get a lot of clients they need to work on, and that's great. So that's all working. And I can already see, I get excited because I can already see that this is working. It's already starting to work, and it's already freeing up time. And I think on top of it, I love delegating. I think that's my favorite word lately. Because everything that happens, even a phone call, it's like I look at it and, what did that client want? And I say to the client, I don't have the time at the moment because I'm about to do a webinar, or I just make something up and I'll say, but such and such, I could get them to do it now, or I could do it for you tomorrow. So, they want it now.
Yeah.
And that's tomorrow.
How long has it taken you in fighting delegating? Has it taken you years to avoid the delegation?
No, I'm not one that didn't want to palm work off. I think for me it was I didn't have the trust and the confirmation that they knew what they needed to do, staff members. I'm not my senior. So, juniors I've put on, and another senior now has come on, and they're, yes, they might have experience, but it's I know now with pure bookkeeping, I know they're doing it the way I want. So I've got that trust. So the delegating is easy because it's like, this is what you need to do. This is how, what's specific to that client. Jump over here, follow these rules. In Carbon, the checklists are there for the PB. So just follow that. So how wrong can they get it? That's what I love about it. It's like, oh, this is great. So it wasn't that I fighted delegating work and people, they won't know how to do it. I know they can do it. Some things come through that, the seniors have to do with me because it is a little bit beyond what the junior girls are possibly able to do at that time. No, but that part I love. And I think it was just it's not that I had bad bookkeepers or inexperienced bookkeepers. I just didn't have the good systems. So I believe with the systems, I'm going to have great bookkeepers because they're all going to do it the same way. And it's going to be fantastic. So it feels like a release. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So what's that going to allow you to do if we assume all of your systems are implemented this year? What does next year look like for you?
It will be 3 days a week. I do a lot of client meetings, so that will need to be scaled back to some degree with some clients. It'll be 3 days a week, and the bookkeeping and clients or the consulting I do, anything to do with the business has to be done in 3 days. That's what that has to be like. I'm not going to say I wish, I want it to be. It's going to be.
Fantastic.
It's going to be, yeah. So that's 3 days. 1 day is a day off to do anything that is not bookkeeping, and the other day is finishing my book, one of my books. Yeah.
Tell us about
it's
your
not bookkeeping. It's not a bookkeeping book.
Is it we're playing this at midday. Is it G-rated to be able to discuss at this time?
It will be, because it never used to be. So for those who don't know, I write romance novels. I'm actually the assistant treasurer of the Romance Writers of Australia.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of fun. There's over 600 women, and I get to have a week off every year and go to a conference and just not do bookkeeping and just delve into the world of romance. And it was really just, I enjoyed writing. I write fiction and non-fiction. I think from little, I just like putting words on paper. I find that even ideas in bookkeeping, if I have an idea, I just put it all down on paper, and I'm still a note taker because that's just how it suits me. It all becomes digitized at the end of the day. But yeah, I just like the art of writing. I think that's what it is, that pen and paper and just write kind of thing. So yeah, the novel, there's a few novels there that just need touching up. They were not X-rated. They weren't quite clean. But I just thought a few clients cottoned on to I think when you looked me up, there wasn't much on bookkeeping. Actually, there was more on me being a writer than a bookkeeper. And yeah, I think I would like to revisit and clean up some scenes. A few years ago, I wouldn't have worried about it, but now there's a few clients I'm thinking, oh, who have mentioned they're looking forward to reading the book, and I just thought, I don't think you should read it. You know, and ironically, the recent new hire that I took on, I gave her. We got talking, and we were looking at the client base, and she saw the romance writers as one of our clients, and she's like, oh. And then she told me she writes romance. So I thought, how exciting.
Wow.
So we're now 2 bookkeepers that like to write romance. So I said to her, well, you tell me how many hours a day you need to write, and we'll work around that, because for me, that's important for the staff to be able to have that work life and hours, their dream hours. I want to try and get to that straight away. So that makes them happier too.
Yeah, awesome. So if I can ask, who would you recommend the pure bookkeeping to, or you know, creating systems? Who would you recommend it?
There was I don't remember her name. There was a girl on the wind down last night. Yeah. And she had just started. Do you remember? It was someone Sharon Law had recommended to the intensive workshop. And when she said, oh, I've just started, and I just wanted to jump out and hug her and say, we can help you. We've got all the systems, you know, but it's not just the systems. You've got the community. For so long I worked alone, and you had to think, oh, is it the right way? Isn't it? And I really relied on accountants to keep me educated in compliance and everything like that. And obviously you're in different industries for bookkeeping, and I found, by the time they got back to you, it was just easier to get to the accountant and learn. So, you know, with pure bookkeeping, for me, it's been the community. And I think that's why I like to contribute to pure bookkeeping. Sorry if you all get sick of hearing about me all the time on my views. I have some really strong views at times. But I just, I think through, you know, maybe it is the seller, maybe it is up until now, and the bookkeeping, you know, not that everyone has to make their own mistakes, but if you can just guide people, I think it's nice. I think it's easy. And it could be, you know, a lot of procedures or things that you've already got written. Why would someone spend, you know, all hours? Sometimes we could spend 6 hours and it's not even finished. And it's that saying, you know, just get it done kind of thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist like that, and I have to stop doing that. But if I've got it ready to go, and sometimes pure bookkeeping licensees, you know, they ring, they get the number off the website and ring me and just, do you mind if I ask a question? I think, no, go for it. And their dilemma is something that, I've been through that. And I'm like, well, hey, you can do that, but I've got something, I could share that. You can rejig it, and you can do this. And, you know, so that, if you can help in that way, I think that's really good. But yeah, anyone starting out, you know, look, you find your own tribe, I guess. But for me, pure bookkeeping, I think that, you know, we've got so many events nearly every day of the week, haven't we? And then we've even got Tuesday, the Techie Tuesday, and everything goes on. And I look forward to that. And I think that that's my time to just not just work on the business, but it's sort of not just social, but it's your time to just connect to other people and listen to their ideas. And it feels like you've just got this army of bookkeepers behind you, you know, that you're not alone doing it anymore. And we all have our, you know, little struggles. And I think it's nice. And sometimes, you know, bookkeepers have messaged me and everything, and it's just, they've got a complete it could be personal, it could be something completely different, non-bookkeeping. And I think people just need that. We need that little rant or whatever it is, and then we get on with our day. And I think that's great, you know, and it's not someone who's, you know, next to you and personal or in your social circle that you feel you can't talk to things about. But we've got that in pure bookkeeping. And I think that, to me, that's the value of it all. You know, it's not this checklist and everything is great, but that community is, for me, the most valuable. I don't feel I'm doing this alone. If I'm got a query or anything, and it's, you know, we've all got our experiences that I think we're even helping pure bookkeeping by fine-tuning things, really, because we're working in it. We're working on these things. So, you know, I think we all benefit from that. So it's good. Yeah.
And we're all aligned in the same manner. So we're all working from the same information, the training manuals, the checklists. They're all working with the same thing. So you understand the best practice and how you're applying it.
And what I said yesterday is because I was telling Katrina off air, everyone. I work with Sharon, and Sharon has been trying to get me to do the business plan, the quarterly plan, you know, and break it down, and what are the 3 things we're going to work on. And it's like, you're so busy with other things, you don't get the time to really dig deep into yourself to really get to what is the heart of my main problem at the moment. What is this? How am I going to do it? And I found the 2-day workshops. We worked through that. We got that sort of mapped out. And last night, I think, because I had notes everywhere, I just mapped it all out again. And I thought, wow, this is great, you know. And your mindset changes with the more things like that you do, the webinars and the community and reaching out to different groups and whichever. It's your mindset changing and always thinking, you know, how can I do something better, and how can I even think better? Like, yes, I always said I was a bookkeeper, and, you know, there's Peter Cook that turns around and says, you're running a bookkeeping business. And it was like, yes, that's what I'm doing, you know, because I'm really not that bookkeeper anymore. I'm, you know, focusing on so many different things. And you have to remember that you're running a business, and that's really, for me, important when you might meet a new client and they try and crunch you on price. And it's easy for me to say, you know, apologies, you're not the right client for our business model, you know. And I think they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I'm running a business, you know. I'm not going to come to you and help you do your bookwork and tell you go and discount all your clients, you know. So I think that's when clients see you, that you're on top of your business. I think that's something that they can learn from too. I think they can benefit from your experiences running a business. Yeah,
definitely. If you're running it in a professional way and successfully, and they can see that you're not stressed and, you know, running ragged and saying I'm way too busy to do anything, they can see your success, and they want that. They want a piece of that. They want you to be helping them run their business. So it's a good role model for your clients as well, to run your own business successfully. We are almost out of time. What's the one thing that you would like to recommend to bookkeepers that are reaching the 80, 100,000, you know, wanting to get to because it's usually around that turnover that is hard to get over to the next hump. Like, you can be working yourself for the 80, 100,000. We're all overwhelmed. We're doing it all ourselves. What do you think the one thing that you would recommend for bookkeepers that are at that level to help them, you know, move to the next level?
I would say, I think one thing is hard because it depends on where you are in your mind.
You can give me 3 things if you like. If you like,
okay, you can give me 3. Okay, one thing
doesn't have to. Yeah.
Change your mindset. Change your mindset, because I remember it's just think like a business person, and also get the help in what it is you're struggling with. So there's, like we said, a lot of resources. So focus on one thing. If it's you know, the pricing, you feel you're too cheap or you want to move to a different pricing structure, focus on that. If it's your systems, focus on that. And, you know, for me, it has been the community of bookkeepers, I would say, that's made a difference, because you go away and you're working every day, and if you're not in tune or in touch with a community, it's hard to keep in that mindset. With pure bookkeeping, because we had things regular, I would just quickly jump on. I probably didn't contribute or anything or say anything for the first 12 months, but I was there. Yes, probably working, but I was listening in, and all this information that you get in your head, you just automatically, you change. If you want to change, you will. And I think you start to see things differently. And if there's something you don't understand, you get to go back and hear the recording, or you get to look into that particular topic or task or whichever it is you're doing, and you get to learn it better and understand it better. And if you don't understand, I think with today, Facebook, or even, you know, pure bookkeeping, yeah, Facebook mainly because it's easier to reach out to people, but there's a lot of support. So I think if you don't understand something, or you need help with something, I think all of us would be happy to help. You know, I believe the support is there. Reach out. Don't, and I say to the staff, don't sit there and spend an hour doing something that I can answer in a second. You know, there's always someone that can, you know, maybe help to make it easier for you. So yeah, a lot of support. I would say the number one would be reach out and get some sort of community behind you to, you know, fall back on, and just, yes, you're running a business. You don't know everything. You're learning every day as you're going. It could be to do with something in compliance that your staff may ask you, or you may be struggling with, or it could be, you know, your business ethics or whichever, you know, something's wrong, but not how to fix it. So just ask. I would say that would be the number one. Yeah, and keep learning, the education. So really two things I would say, community and the education. And well, three, there you go. Think like a business person.
Yeah, I love that. The community, find yourself a tribe that can support you and that you trust, and keep educating yourself. Focus on those things that you need to improve on. And your mindset is, put yourself in the mind of a business owner, which is what you are. You're not you're not a bookkeeper, you are a business owner running a business. So work your days like that. That's exactly what you're doing. So we are at the top of the hour. So thank you so much, Helen. It was really enjoyable. It went really quickly, and it was lovely to hear your story from entrepreneurial hairdresser through to, you know, how you did build your business and where you're taking it now over the next year. And of course, writing your novel. So I love it. We're getting a lot of response from those on the Zoom meeting today.
Oh, great. And sorry, I talked too much in the end, don't I? We didn't get time for questions, but if anyone has any questions, you can post them in the Facebook page, and I'll get to them and have a look and answer your questions. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and you have a wonderful afternoon.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
See you all.